All right, everyone, welcome back into another Fantasy Golf video. Going to be breaking down round two here of the Cognizant Classic, talking about all my favorite Showdown picks. We're going to go through the lineup process there as well, using the 9 to 5 lineup builder. Then we're going to get into some round two bets, which bets are going to be the best prop bets on PrizePicks and Underdog, as well as talking about my favorite 3-ball bets and also matchup bets for round two. Let's go ahead and get into it. So another near tilt for first round leader picks, guys. Russell Henley and Daniel Berger ended up finishing the next best after the career day that Jake Knapp ended up going out and having. Obviously, a very good day for him. The course did end up playing much easier in the early AM for the AMT times than really was expected. I would say kind of what we saw more late in the day was more of what was expected, kind of expecting it to play easier than we have seen in the past. Not this much easier, so definitely strange there. But knowing that Jake Knapp really ruined a good round one Showdown day for DFS and then also for Underdog as well. This was my best lineup that ended up on the day. Obviously didn't have Jake Knapp, but pretty I mean, we see Ryan Gerard was kind of the big issue there as well. But to have that pretty good of a lineup with, those players going out and going low, kind of annoying there. So nothing big for round one, but we were on Sam Ryder a decent amount. I was kind of tilting that I didn't give you guys him as a first round leader pick, even though I kind of mentioned that. Another play was Michael Kim, who ended up playing pretty darn well as well. Overall, a good round one, just not on Jake Knapp to really solidify a great day for round one. And I do think it's worth calling out, like somewhat interesting with the ownership. Like we see this kind of from Taylor Pendrith, who I'm on a decent amount, all the way down to like Taylor Moore. A lot of cut sweats that are going to be occurring tomorrow. And then we'll go ahead here and just jump into the round two Showdown picks. We're going to jump into round two here, guys. And I want to start with regression because I bet we know who's going to be one of the top golfers that is expected to play much better in round two. Kevin Roy. Kevin Roy, one of my favorite plays on the week. He could not hit a freaking fairway. It was super tilting. The best driver in the field, specifically for this tournament, could not hit a fairway. It was tilting there like he had half of them. So really set a terrible roundup for him. So I'm hoping he has a better day. That's biggest sweat there, as well as Bud Cauley. I'm on Bud Cauley a lot as well. Those are my two biggest sweats. Looking at a lot of 4 out of 6 builds right now. I would feel pretty comfortable getting 5 out of 6 in terms of being able to have a profitable build for the main slate. But for round two Showdown, these are all the players that are, obviously plays that were decent enough that are expected to play better in round two. We can flip that around and see which golfers that maybe went off and played well in round one are not expected to. So Davis Riley, David Skins, Valimaki there, Pavon, Will Gordon. So, a lot of golfers that, probably had outlier rounds that we probably shouldn't be looking at to continue to play well in round two. But speaking of that, guys, we did see a pretty significant split here. So the golfers that are going to have the early tee time here in round two, looking at the scoring average, we can see, still under par, but like this is kind of more of what we would expect on the week, and really I think what we're going to expect going forward. Looking at some of the pin placements, I think that's what we're going to expect here for round two. But like the golfers that went out late actually kind of, I don't know if the greens were just pure in the morning. I mean, there's a little bit of wind, much easier there in the early AMT time. And so I'm still going to be attacking the AMT times, but I will call out, I was looking at Windfinder a little bit, and they're kind of showing that maybe actually it could be a little bit more windy in the AM, but not too significant. Like we don't have to matter about it too much in terms of really changing who would be on drastically. Like it's about the same, but maybe slightly. Maybe the AM PM split for the main slate actually ended up having the most favorable tee time split there. So let's go ahead here and get into the round two Showdown picks. So it is interesting, like Russell Henley is someone that went off in round one. He's expected to continue to play well in round two. So he's probably going to be someone that I don't want to say going off our way target because he does at that PMT time, but you do expect him to continue to play well. He's the top ranked player this week and he's expected to continue to play well. So I don't mind that. Then you have Taylor Pendrith, who's going to have that more favorable tee time. So we're probably targeting him. And then from there, it does get a little bit dicey, I will say, because then we're looking at Mingwoo Liu, who didn't play all that well, Davis Thompson, who didn't play all that well. Keith Mitchell is a play that I really like. Besides, if we're factoring in that split of, the rounds, he's probably closer to second place, T2, if you want to do that math. But, he's a play I'd be fine getting back to. Obviously had a really good spike round, but you kind of expected him to play well. I don't expect him to play that well again, though, in round two. So I did think he's going to be someone we're getting to as well. But let's take a peek at some live strokes stats as well. So for me, as someone on Kevin Roy, I do want to just take a peek at his stats in general. What are we kind of expecting from him? So he ended up hitting half of his fairways, which would rank out 80th in the field, and he typically ranks out like top 10. So obviously we expect him to play better there as well, but he didn't exactly putt all that well as well. Now he's not the world's best putter, but you'd still expect him to putt better. So again, a little bit of improvement there as well. So not terrible. Even like the greens and regulation were poor. So you do expect him to go on and have a better day. So I'm kind of hopeful that he can, kind of play better in round 2. And I do think he will play better in round 2. Will be a cut sweat though. I think we got a decent chance for him to make the cut. And then looking at Bud Cauley, where was he the worst? So Bud Cauley did not hit that many fairways. You would expect that to get a little bit better, although he typically hasn't done that thus far. Did lose strokes off the tee, which hopefully that gets corrected, but I would say Bud Cauley is going to be a decent sweat there as well. Those are two of the players that I'm banking on the most to play better. We'll take a peek here at strokes gained putting. Who is most likely to improve putting here in round 2? All right, so are there any names that are popping up that we want to be on for round 2 showdown? So yeah, Taylor Pendrith. Okay, so this is not bad. Okay, so lost a decent amount of strokes putting on the green, which he typically will do strokes gained putting as well, but not that much. And so he could have a decent improvement of about 2 strokes putting here if he were to get back to closer to his average. So not terrible there. I do think, that kind of echoes further maybe why he's ranking out as a good showdown play for us. That's really the only biggest name that sticks out to me. We do see Joel Damon not playing terribly, and he didn't put all the best. Then let's flip it around. Maybe who's someone that putted extremely well that's not expected to? Patrick Rogers, Daniel Berger. Yeah, Daniel Berger had himself a very good day putting. Brian Campbell still up there. Interesting. So nothing too crazy here in terms of maybe Russell Henley a little bit. Don't like seeing that. Don't like seeing that at all. Putted well, maybe not expected to putt as well in round 2. But all this is kind of just confirming already what the data is telling us in terms of which plays we want to be on. So let's go ahead and take a peek at the 9-to-5 lineup builder. All right, and so as always, guys, we're going to give this 2 data points to go off of, and so whatever, we're just rounding up to on 2 of them. We're going to click generate so you guys can get a decent idea of maybe who we're looking at here, see if I like the build. And so we're looking at Pendrith, Mitchell, so I already don't mind that. Davis, Thompson, don't mind that. Alex Smalley, Gary Woodland, Hogard as well. Not terrible. I'm not sure if I need to get Gary Woodland. Let's see how much the data is already naturally getting Gary Woodland. Not too much. So obviously if we do it, I'll scroll down. Obviously if we do it more as like a normal run, where typically I will do 30% max exposure or so, I think we'll get that spread out a decent amount, but I could cap his exposure as well. And so maybe show you guys that. So we go to show usage real quick. Let's say I don't want to be on Gary Woodland that much. So what I would do is I would just click on Gary Woodland, max exposure, set this to maybe like 15, then we could run it again. But you guys get the general idea of what we're looking at there. Now we are factoring in the early AM tee times to still be the good tee times to go off of, which is what we did in round 1 as well. But again, that weather report does, the wind report does kind of worry me a little bit. Now I'm not giving the AM tee times a massive bump, so it is still nice to see that all those golfers are still the golf plays that we want to be going out of our way to target more so in the PM. And it's partially due to the fact that they all didn't play as well as they were expected to play, a lot of the golfers there. So you would expect them then to have a good round in round 2. So it's a little bit more risky, I would say, though, than I would like it to be for round 2. But if it pays off, we're going to be sitting pretty. All right, everyone. So now we're going to jump on into some 3-ball bets here for round 2. And I currently had the 3 best ones pulled up right now. And so again, what I did here is I sorted the matchup odds to at least about a 35% edge, matchup odds percent there. And then the edge to at least a positive edge in terms of the 9-to-5 data versus the average sportsbook data. And yesterday, I should call out that yesterday we had 1 loss and then 2 chopped up. So 2 players tying from each 3-ball bet. A little bit tilting there, need a full cash. These are the 3 best ones that are currently popping up. Now I do want to call it in terms of how the 9-to-5 data is valuing a few of these that are popping up. Austin Eck wrote as well to win his group. Don't hate that. We also maybe Trey Mullinax, but I don't really want to bet on Trey Mullinax. But I did want to call those out. Those are 2 decent ones. Now if we drop the edge rating down a little bit to maybe like 0. We are seeing like Pearson Cootie as well, not terrible, and Harry Hall. But if you guys look at their bet odds, that's kind of why they're not popping up as like the best bets per se. Even like K.H. Lee and also Bud Cauley, you could certainly target those ones. That's not bad. We are getting a positive edge on those, but very minimally. So those are not bad bets there as well. Like if you want to target those ones, you certainly can do that. But the reason why they're not popping up as much is the payout is not as good. And so, we're not going to hit these ones as frequently. Ben Silverman, EVR, and Zach Johnson winning their group. But for the most part, because the payout is a little bit greater and the edge is a little bit better, we're going to get a better return long-term on those bets. So now we're going to go ahead and jump on into some matchup bets. And so sorting it here by the 9-to-5 edge here right now, I do like the idea of getting to Patrick Rogers beating Bo Hosler here at -120. Not the best odds there, for sure, but I'm kind of fine getting there. Then Joe Highsmith as well, -115 to beat Jasper Svensson in round 2 there as well. We could go deeper and get into Michael Kim beating Brian Harman in round 2, but that is starting to get a little bit too deep to me. And let's actually sort by the sportsbook edge as well. So I do want to call this out. These are plus EV bets that we were getting. We're getting three plus EV bets right now, all on FanDuel. I do not like this first one because the 9 to 5 data is actually telling us to do the opposite. So don't bet on Bo Hosler to beat Patrick Rogers because the 9 to 5 data is telling us to do the opposite. But this next one, it's kind of fine if you guys want to do it. Billy Horschel beating Ricky Fowler. So FanDuel is a little bit lower on those odds. Did want to call that out. But the matchup bets that I'm going to be targeting, and if you guys want to do Sanjay M beating Shane Lowry, you can. I'm not sure I exactly want to get there, but it's really going to be these two right here are going to be the two matchup bets that I'm going on my way to target in round 2. So guys, we're going to go ahead here and jump on into some prop bets for both PrizePicks and Underdog, but I do want to start off with calling out betr and the betr promo. So make sure if you guys are maybe betting on PrizePicks and Underdog prop bets for PGA, also take a peek at betr as well. I'm going to show you guys a slip that I was able to hit, which I'm very tilted about because right as I was going to send this to the 9 to 5 Discord chat, these 3 stroke prop bets were adjusted down by a stroke, but the whole point was that the course was playing much easier than expected. We could then gain an edge on a sportsbook. This is something I've been mentioning to you guys in these videos, is that the whole reason I want to play on betr is for this specific spot where they were a little bit slow with the lines. We were betting on how the course was going to play, and their payout was actually a little bit better for this 7 slip bet. It was pretty awesome then because of that. Now, you would argue that the payout should be better, but it's really due to their flex payouts that we're looking. But if you did this on PrizePicks or Underdog, the payout would have been significantly more reduced, even though it was already reduced on betr. So take advantage of that, guys. The promo code is right there in the bottom corner. Use the link in the description below, though. If you guys do, that's going to help out the channel. That actually kicks back some money my way, and it's just an easy way to support the channel. Again, link to that's in the description below as well. But we go ahead here and take a peek at the PrizePicks cheat sheet right now, guys, and we're going to zoom out so you guys can see it here. Are we getting any big prop line differences to start? That's what we should start with here. And we are getting several bets where we are seeing a decent prop line difference. And looking at the pin locations for round 2, I will say, guys, the pins do seem to be in much more tucked locations. So I do think the scoring is going to be a little bit more difficult in round 2. They're not showing all of them here on this graphic on the slider here, but they did tweet it out on Twitter. So I do expect the scoring to be a little bit more difficult, just as an FYI. And so if we're expecting that there as well, maybe some of those golfers, this is interesting. It's interesting that PrizePicks right here is higher on Daniel Berger compared to Underdog. That's interesting. I could actually see betting the over on Underdog for that one. Fascinating there. These prop line differences, though, should not be occurring, right? What I would say is, obviously, if you're wanting to bet the unders for the most part, if you think it's going to play easy again in round 2, what you'd want to do is actually place these under bets on Underdog. That's what you'd want to be doing here with Ricky Fowler, Keith Mitchell, Billy Horschel, Brian Harman. You don't want to stack them together, honestly, because the payouts can be so significantly reduced. But again, take advantage of those prop line differences that we were getting. And then Taylor Pendrith as well, guys. So I actually like the tee time that Taylor Pendrith gets for round 2. I think we could be betting on his under there on PrizePicks. So let's go ahead and jump back into the PrizePicks board and see where we're getting our biggest edges. And so, yeah, it really comes down to, will the course play more difficult or not? The course still only averaged about 4.5 birdies or better, even though there's all that scoring. And the course average was still about 68, which is pretty crazy. Obviously we did see those tee time differences, and so it does come down to that. And so if we're looking at Daniel Berger and Luke Clanton, who are not going to, maybe they're going to have that afternoon tee time. One, they both played extremely well. Do we expect that to continue into round 2 as to the extent that it did? Probably not. And so I could see us betting the under. We are seeing some birdie or better matchups popping up in here as well. Seb Straka under birdies or better against Ryo. Sanjay M under birdies are better against Mackenzie Hughes as well. So some little edges there, but we're going to get some more throughout the day as well. And so going ahead here and jumping on into the 9 to 5 bet of the day here, guys, we are going to be looking at, again, taking advantage of those 2 prop line differences that we were getting. Keith Mitchell is some of that does grade out well for round 2 Showdown, so betting on his understrokes, and then Daniel Berger for his higher strokes, again just taking advantage of those slight prop line differences. And this bet will actually pay out full because we're doing 2 opposite bets, which is pretty nice. So we are betting on the 2 different tee times there as well. Hopefully the AM continues to play easy and the PM slate continues to play a little bit more difficult. And then sticking with that theme, guys, we are going to be doing a 2-slip bet there on PrizePicks as well. Going to be a full payout again because we're doing 2 bets that don't necessarily correlate, which is pretty nice here in terms of those ones actually popping up as decent prop bets. Now, guys, that's going to do it for this video. If you guys want access to any of the tools that you saw in this video, make sure to head on over to 95sports.com. Get access to the fantasy golf tools, and all the tools available on the website for just $10 a month, guys. Take advantage of it. It's the best deal out there for fantasy golf, simply put. So take advantage of that, guys. Great deal. Appreciate you being here. Good luck with all your round 2 bets, and good luck with your main slate cut sweats. That's going to be all. Good luck, and as always, let's keep cashing.